We're celebrating the one and only Felix Cavaliere, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Songwriters Hall of Fame, you name it. He's been inducted, the all-time singer, keyboardist, songwriter. You know him from the Rascals, aka the Young Rascals, the Ringo All-Star Band, so much more. Then and now, tell us about this new album, the first since '93, solo-wise. Wow, that's 30-some years now. And of course, it's the bookend to your book, came out last year, Memoir of a Rascal. Talk about why it was time and how you were able, like you say, slip away, Spanish Harlem, along the way. Road trip, El Barrio. Putting this thing together seems like a real labor of love. Talk about it and why it's the perfect time to make that statement.
Well, I moved to Nashville because, I really love to write and I love to create new music. And we started doing an album, and my manager had this idea. Why don't you take 5 songs, from the past and re-record them and, write 5 new ones? Okay, well, then the next thing you know, we had this pandemic. Wait a minute. I mean, we can't go out and, no, you can't. Wow. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to open up our computers. We're going to finish our album. So that's what happened. We were able to do it over those wonderful quarantine years. It really kept us sane because, there was no work. I mean, everything closed as far as the shows. A lot of people went out of business. A lot of shows went out of business. A lot of crews that work for artists went out of business. A lot of people who were like the sound people had to find other professions. It really was a tough time for our music industry. I don't know if people realize that, but a lot of places closed down. They're not there anymore. The places we used to work. So anyway, yeah. I'm diverting, but so we have computer technology. We're able to do albums on computers. So we jump right into that, man. We did a lot of this stuff in our homes. Matter of fact, we did all of it after the basic tracks, which was prior to the pandemic. We were locked in. So we did the album, and basically, we went to someone's house. We put a mask on, went in there, did our thing, left. We kept healthy, and we did an album. And that's how this album came about. And there's a spirit in this album that is probably in a lot of people's music, that we're making music that says, hey, man, we're still here, bro. And we're still grooving.
Oh, man. That is for sure. Listening to the record, it sounds, like I say, a friendly voice that we know, a batch of songs that mean a lot to you. And certainly you're able, with your studio there and, technology today, to be able to make a record like this without a label, without a producer per se. Of course, we all need a little technical help here and there, but it seems like it's from your heart and so pure, undiluted by a lot of other hands that may have touched a record, that used to go through a major label or through a machine. Talk about that purity.
No, you said it very well, my friend. You should start writing songs. I'm telling you, man, you got a gift for words. Yes. No, it's exactly right. I mean, like most, I mean, anybody who's ever been a musician or wanted to be a musician has that spirit. Usually, like, you really love what you do. If you don't, you really shouldn't do it because it's a crazy, very insane business. But the bottom line is, when you can't do anything because of like quarantine, it comes out in other ways, and this is a good way for it to come out, right? And onto a computer tape, as they say. You're still saying tape? There's no tape.
Well, yeah, no, it's so great, and kind of like I say, kind of a bookend to your book that came out last year. Really, now your fans, whether they be old school fans from the original days or new people discovering your work, being the offspring of great people that had great taste. Now with your book, you can tell the stories. And with this album, we have the pure Felix Cavaliere. How important is it for you to be able to kind of get your memoirs out there, so to speak, and help, archive the greatness that has been your last 50, 60 years?
Well, it was a labor of love. I mean, basically what happened is we did a Broadway show. The original four of us were still alive and well at that time. It was called Once Upon a Dream, which was it was named after one of the album. And during that time, we did press conferences. And so I noticed that there's four of us sitting on the stage, and there was a press corps asking questions, and every single one of us had a different answer for the same question.
Mhm.
So I said, wait a second. I could have sworn I was there. You know what I mean? That's not what I remember. That's what started. I said, well, let me at least write down my memories of those days. And then I said, wait a second, with all due respect to the Rascals, I'm talking about a period of my life that was approximately 6 or 7 years out of, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, a lot of decades. So that's how it started. And I started to fill in from, like I first started playing when I was 5 till now. And, the point that I like is I may still have some more chapters to write, I hope.
Absolutely. We're writing a chapter today as we speak.
Amen. You got it.
We want to encourage all the serious music fans to go out and get Felix's new album, Then and Now. Get the book, Memoirs of a Rascal. You can go to FELIXCavalieremusic.com for all the updates. Go see him live. It's such a treat to have this music bring us back to a time that was simpler in our life. It's always the soundtrack for the great times, and I know with this album you're making more. Felix, it's been a supreme pleasure having you on the show, and can't wait till our next conversation. Thank you, sir. Please keep making that great music, and we'll keep spreading the word. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate your time, my friend.